And we are back. Now, as I had mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, we are looking into cybersecurity. Our topic of conversation is building resilience in cybersecurity. And with me in our studio right now, on my immediate right, we have Danstan Akwiri. He is the Vice President, CyberPro Global. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, and on my far right, we have Tyson Gitonga, who is a Business Development Manager. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show today as we just shed light on building resilience in cybersecurity. If we can just begin with defining what cybersecurity resilience is. Let's start with your query.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivian, again for having me on the show. So there is a difference between cybersecurity protection and cyber resilience. So cyber resilience is the ability to be able to not only prepare for and respond to cyber attacks, but at the same time maintain business continuity, which is very key and very essential. Because now, unlike cybersecurity protection, which is basically being able to defend the data and IT infrastructure. So cyber resilience means that you have to be able to prepare and respond for these attacks, just to make sure that you maintain business continuity. Yes.
All right, and just from that definition, unless you want to add on to something, maybe what are the key components of a resilient cyber security strategy?
Okay, thank you. Probably I'd start with a little bit add up on the definition. Cybersecurity in terms of resilience is the ability of a company to anticipate, withstand, recover from, and adapt from cyber threats. Now, the old school prevention is they prevent cyber threats, but now in resilience is you're able to do that while still continuing with your core business. So that's it.
So what's the key components in building that resilience?
Some of the key components in building resilience is would look at
now if I may step in, when you look at the key components to building cybersecurity resilience in an IT environment setup, is the human training. All right, which is very essential. You look at the way categorization of attacks based on cybersecurity incidents and attacks, you will find that the human beings are the mostly targeted because they are very critical in the supply chain of cybersecurity. So one factor that I would really like to emphasize on is training on the human capacity. Human capacity is very essential because now as human beings, when you have skilled labor in any organization, it becomes very easy to be able to handle those types of attacks. Yes.
Maybe back to you, Tyson.
Yes.
What are some of the common threats that are there, that businesses and organizations can look out for?
Some of the threats are, you look at ransomware, you'll also phishing threats, and also system breaches. Those are the key issues, key areas that cyber threats come into place.
And with the threats that you've just mentioned, maybe what are steps that organizations should take to enhance, their resilience and their resilience against these threats?
Okay, that is a very good question. Now, in terms of steps, you look at cybersecurity as an all-inclusive kind of operation. It is not just a one-man's show or a one-man's job. It's all-inclusive, and that means that, from if you have networks at your place, if you have databases, if you have servers, you have to look for a way to be able to have an all-inclusivity protection. And that is one principle in cybersecurity architecture we call defense in depth. And that means not only network. For networks, let's say you have a firewall. For servers, you have to make sure that the configurations are up to date and well configured. For databases, you have to make sure that you have tools to protect the same. And then when it comes again to human, you have to be making sure that you keep on training them and updating them on the knowledge and the skills required to be able to, protect themselves and make sure that we have business continuity. And that is what we are trying to focus more on in terms of a company. And that is what we do as CyberPro Global.
Yes. And just as a business development manager, like what would you advise, businesses you know, in terms of them ensuring that they are secure or resilient. Let me use the word resilient, that they are resilient in the matter we're talking about.
Okay, for businesses, I'd probably give a four-tier approach. The first is enhanced awareness. When your employees are aware of the risks that they face, they are able to detect and prevent the same. The second one is improved incidents reports. You find that staff can act swiftly and correctly during cyber threats when they are aware of what is happening. Yeah. There is also reduced human errors. You will find out that the biggest threat to an institution in terms of security and focusing on cybersecurity is the human error, as my colleague had said. Yeah. When you're able to capacity build your employees all rounded, and this is both technical and non-technical stuff. You see, when hackers are targeting you, they will not target technical guys. They'll target non-technical guys who they'll send you a link. That is the weak link in the system. So once you're able to educate and train your employees, you reduce significantly, close to 95% of the threat of cyber attacks. Yes.
And what's the best way to go about that? You know, just the capacity building, like what should companies do matters in terms of capacity building when it comes to them ensuring that everyone in the company is trained, not just the IT people in the company, but every single person is trained.
If I may, Vivian, one thing I've noticed my colleague mention a couple of things. He said the weak link. Not really. I think we should change terms to not weak, but rather critical. Because, you know, human beings, our emotions, you know, is what makes us human beings.
We were just from speaking about emotional intelligence.
Yes, you know. So when we lack emotions, we, you know, we stop being human beings.
That's true.
So hackers do tend to use those emotions to be able to manipulate us. So we should change the term from, you know, weak to critical. We are critical, very critical. So let's avoid using the term weak. Yeah, so back to the question about what organizations should do. I strongly believe that the first thing is the C-suite, the management, to be able to know that cybersecurity is a very, very important and significant part of organization today and in future. Because now, if they do not understand the importance of it, they will not even allocate budget to it. And cybersecurity is not just the, you know, traditional IT. You know, we have an IT department, therefore we can be able to, we are safe. You can have a very good IT individual, but then in matters of cybersecurity, they're not as competent as they should be. So again, it goes back to, you know, capacity building. So starting from the C-suite, being able to let the managers of the company and the owners, for example, or the whole board understand the importance of having cybersecurity department or personnel in the institution organization. And then coming back to IT individuals, whom should be able to upskill or reskill, for that matter, to understand the latest technologies that are existing in cybersecurity. For example, AI-powered cybersecurity tools. So either you're using them or not. But either way, if you're not using them, then you will be left, you know, you'll be left to not match the current technologies. All right. Then coming back to now the general stuff.
Yeah.
Because simple things like do not use a USB. You know, that you've just picked somewhere. Do not be able to just connect to any password, any Wi-Fi, you know, that is free or open. You know, such kind of like small, simple things that they may look, it becomes an issue if we cannot be able to train our staffs.
Yeah. And you know, speaking about that, we've seen incidences where institutions have been hacked or, you know, data being breached in one way or the other because their cybersecurity wasn't really intact. You know, there's a case where we had what's this eCitizen.
The DDoS.
eCitizen was hacked some time back. And maybe what would you say concerning that?
I'd say, especially for the eCitizen attack, was a DDoS, like a denial of distributed denial of service attack. You find that the breach was, they had outdated security protocols. That is what they targeted, and that's how they got into the platform. You find the country was unable to use the eCitizen platform for the different services they provide.
Yeah.
Now, on the same, it was a DDoS attack, and fortunately or unfortunately, I will be on their defense a little bit, because now a DDoS attack is one of the attacks that is very, very difficult to prevent, and it's very, very easy to actually, manage or implement.
Yeah.
Very difficult to prevent and very, very easy to implement. So in one way or the other, it was a very good wake-up call for the whole country, the government, the industry, and the academia as well.
Yeah.
But I think we are headed there, because from there on, the security teams in the country really started upskilling again and reskilling again, going back to the capacity building.
Yeah. So the buck stops with that capacity building.
It does.
Mainly.
It does. Why? Because I would break cybersecurity into two main factors. That is the technical factor and the human factor. And the technical factor is the technology aspect of it, and engineers and scientists and researchers are doing really hard work to ensure that we have very safe systems that are existing right now. But then the human factor is where I don't want to say the problem, but is where the whole idea is. So it becomes an issue, because you can invest billions of dollars on security infrastructure for any organization, but if you do not take a chunk of that budget to be able to enforce capacity building, it becomes a very big issue, because it all involves the people, the process, and the technology. And we are building technology for the people.
Yeah. And now, let's look at an incident where, yes, there's been an attack, a cyber attack.
Yes.
So what's the best way to, for a response to that, like a response plan? That's what I mean. A response plan to quickly recover from that.
Yeah.
Are there such?
Yes, there. I was looking at some meme the other day where it was saying, it was a server room, and then the whole meme was saying, in case of a cyber attack, pull the cables, pull out the cables. So the best thing I would say
how
is...
true is that?
It is practical.
Oh.
It is practical. Yeah, it's just like when you see an accident, you're driving, press the brakes. It is possible, but again, just to clear it out, a hack or an attack does not necessarily mean there is a data breach. Because when you look at the e-citizen incident, there was no data breach. It was just a denial of service, which actually reminds me to state the three core fundamentals of cybersecurity, which is the CIA triad: the confidentiality, the integrity, and availability. So they denied their availability aspect was the one which was compromised. So if either of them or all of them are compromised, then that is a hack or an attack. Well, in matters response plan, there are a couple of things people are supposed to do. Unfortunately, I don't know if they do it. But the first thing is to be able to isolate. Right? If you realize that the network in a certain department or in a certain room was breached, the first thing is to isolate. Isolate could mean literally again pulling the cables. But again, it wouldn't get to that if the personnel in charge of that was skilled enough, because they will be able to have VLANs everywhere, and then you can be able to isolate it virtually or logically. So you don't need to be able to pull all the cables. After you have isolated, then if you are competent enough, you can be able to do an analysis and determine the type of threat it is and the impact that it has to the organization. And of course, you have to report to the authorities. In fact, when there is a data breach, now it becomes serious for that matter. Now you have to, ODPC is there, the Data Protection Office is there. You have to inform the authorities about the hack. And of course, you need to be able to clearly put it to the public if that has happened and to what extent. Unfortunately, I don't know if many organizations, I've seen a few who do that, but that should be the whole process.
Okay.
Because
so
at the same time, we need to be able to ensure business continuity. That is now the cybersecurity resilience aspect of it.
Exactly. All right, so maybe to you, Getonga,
yes.
What are some mistakes that you've seen businesses make or institutions make? In relation to cybersecurity resilience?
Some of the major and simple rules. I have a lecturer of mine who says you have to keep it simple and stupid. What I mean by that is that simple things like email verifications. You don't have MFA, multiple factor authentication. So you find that login passwords across your board are the same. So that is one of the simplest. Yet, if you look at an example, if you have an Android phone, the most feature you use is the Google across all your banking, across all your sectors. So if I am able, and then you find that your password for Google is the same across different, yes. So you see, I am able, it is very simple to attack you or to attack a third party, using you as a third party. So those are some of the key issues that you look into. And companies, especially as Dan has said about data, right now data under the ODPC has to be protected, and we find that there are data controllers approved by the ODPC. If there is breach of something like that, you find that there is a heavy punitives. I was reading their report of last year. They gave out demand notices close to around 10 million for that, for breaching of data. So it is one of the key areas where institutions, where organizations, and as simple as the signing at the security gate, that you leave your data there, right? Yeah. So it's simple things, day-to-day activities that you need to protect yourself from. Yes. Yeah.
But now, how do we curb some of these mistakes? Because some of them, you know, like the way when we go to an institution, you leave your details at the gate. I'm sure you even left your details, you know, while you were coming in here. Yeah. How to curb that? Because I mean, it's also a way of ensuring, you know, security is looked at.
See, I'd look at it as a two-way. There is the giver of the data and the receiver of the data. You here being the case, let's say at the gate as we came in, you guys are the ones who receive the data. If you've trained your employees, your people on cyber security and awareness and data protection, those are some of the things they will look at in terms of protecting that data. So it starts within. It starts within. Yeah.
I would say again, just to add on what he has mentioned, I would say that many organizations think they are too small to be able to be compromised or attacked. I mean, I'm just a small-time organization that is for big guys to be attacked, which is entirely not true. And those are the, you know, the easy wins for malicious actors, because the moment you assume you will not be able to even just do a simple thing as, you know, upskilling your team or reskilling your staff, which becomes very, very essential to that. So, like you asked, or he mentioned that we were able to leave our data registered at the entrance. Of course, I've never ever given, you know, correct data at any place I go, because now...
What do you mean? So you give false information?
No, it's just a matter of security, because, come on, they're asking my ID number.
Now people are going to pick that up.
My ID number, my phone number. I mean, those two details are very, very private.
I think that's a bit controversial.
Because now, let me ask you, how will I be sure that the data that I'm leaving there
will be protected?
Yes, will be protected. And how do you think sometimes you randomly get phone calls or text messages from things that you've never even subscribed to? There are those books, and actually they are being sold at in town. 500 bob, you get a full book with the details and contacts for everybody. So it's just a case of zero trust again.
Okay. I don't know if I would advise that, but well, to each their own. To each their own, for sure. You had mentioned about business continuity planning, right? So how can organizations balance cybersecurity with the business continuity planning?
Thank you for that, Vivian. Now, in terms of continuity, this is how I look at the business aspect and cybersecurity. Now, we have to, again, acknowledge that it could be not cheap for organizations, especially SMEs and some organizations. But again, it is a necessity. So if your core business is to be able to manufacture, let's say, paints or, you know, do X, Y, Z, that is your core business in terms of, you know, your business operations, then I think it will not be ideal if you don't have the budget to have a full team for security personnel in the company, but you can always outsource these particular services. All right, you can outsource a company like you can outsource as a cyber pro. You can be able to, you know, train your staff, not only train your staff, but make sure that we set up a very good security parameter within your organization, and as well as recommend, you know, the policies and everything in matters security, so that you can concentrate on what you're doing as a business, and we help you secure your business as well.
Yeah. And speaking about that, you know, you mentioned it's expensive. So why is it expensive, and maybe what should be done, or who should come on board in order to ensure that it's not as expensive, so that probably everyone or every organization or company can be able to at least be able to get these services? Okay,
now one issue that comes about in terms of expenses is because globally we are lacking cybersecurity experts. All right. Well, I know maybe somebody who is watching is like, no, I don't have a job here and I'm very good at cybersecurity. We are lacking cybersecurity experts, but again, just to be clear, we are lacking skilled cybersecurity experts. It's one thing to feel like you're a cybersecurity expert, and it's another thing to be skilled at what you think you can be able to do. So that is one issue that is happening. And then in matters, what can happen is I would recommend that we do you know, a risk analysis, so that we can be able to identify and determine the most critical assets in an organization, and then we can be able to have a secure plan for that. Because if I mean, customers have to access your services through an online platform, then it means one of the, you know, high value assets in that organization is maybe the server, if you are hosting it on premise. And so we need to be able to make sure that whatever happens, business has to continue, and that means people have to still access this server. And I doubt if you or the organization is willing to spend all that money to be able to have an on-prem cybersecurity individual, because at the end of the month it could hurt these small-time organizations. So you find that it's very cheaper to be able to contract these services in reputable organizations, all right? And so it reduces, aggressively reduces the cost to be able to handle the security aspects. So and also just maybe trying to make it affordable is for us to have more skilled cybersecurity experts. So the whole point is training. So training will, you know, and again for cybersecurity there is, you know, the non-technical aspect, which is, you know, GRC, governance, risk and compliance, talking about legals and frameworks, international and locally, and then we have got the technical aspect, which is penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, you know, gap analysis. The other one which lies between non-technical and technical is IT audit. And you see all of these things, we curated a very good curriculum. Both that is accepted locally and of course recognized globally as CyberPro, that we can be able to, you know, train our individuals, especially in Kenya, you know, that you can be able to be upskilled to the extent that you become very much skilled, and of course there is opportunity, very huge opportunity. So there's clearly a gap, you know, for the Form 4 students who actually just finished. This is an area they can look into. Nice. Okay, so maybe what are some of the common challenges that organizations face when it comes to building cybersecurity resilience that you can talk about? Common challenges.
Common challenges is enforcement of policies. I'd say you'll find companies have good policies to help them under cyber attacks, but compliance of the same and the enforcement of the same are two different aspects. At times you find that companies are do not give 100% towards cybersecurity training and threats. So it becomes, yes, you have the policies, but they are just desktop policies. So enforcement goes a long way. And enforcement can be tackled in two ways. Once you give capacity building to your employees and they feel and see the need of protecting what you have, they will appreciate and follow the policies. So that is one of the things where companies, yes, you will have desktop policies, but enforcement of the same becomes an issue. And then also, cybersecurity has to be a continuous training. Things change. Hackers keep getting better every time. So it has to be a continuous effect. You can't say because we did it last year, we can't do it this year. There are companies who do it even 3 times or every quarter. So you have to keep up with the changing trends.
Yeah. So those are some of the challenges.
Continuous improvement.
Okay. How best to ensure security measures adapt to new and evolving cyber threats? As you've mentioned, things keep evolving. So how best to ensure that, you know, to your query?
Oh, to me, okay. Thank you for that. Now, I like what the government is doing currently. They're really coming up with very good policies, and I know I've worked with a few, and I like the way they are seeing things right now. We're even planning to, you know, I overheard that even small organizations that are having at least 50 to 100 people, they need to be able to have an on-prem security personnel. And so you see now, when we are able to have these local policies and regulations, and then enforce them again, like he mentioned, we can be able to have a very strong, you know, security architecture, even for small-time businesses and even individuals as well. So I really look up and wait for what the government is doing, and I know they are really doing it. I know something is cooking because we have had as a company, as CyberPro, conversations with them. And I'm very much positive that we have come a long way, and we are heading somewhere. In the next few months, probably, we will be way past some of these conversations.
And what steps maybe do you feel should be taken or can be taken in order to create a culture of cybersecurity awareness?
What steps to be taken? Sorry.
What steps should be taken in order to create a culture of cybersecurity awareness?
I'd say, as my colleague said, ownership by C-suite executives. See, when it starts at the top, when at the top they appreciate and enforce these policies, these manuals, the people down trickle down. There's a trickle down effect all the way to even the security guard at the gate. So once the C-suite executives appreciate and are able to monitor the same, it becomes easier as a company to wave over the cybersecurity things.
Okay. There's AI now, you know, artificial intelligence. It's been here, it's here, and I feel like it's here to stay now. So maybe what role does AI play when it comes to cybersecurity?
Oh, well, allow me to respond to that. I had a meme which was saying again that...
You've been seeing memes.
Yeah, a lot recently, especially related to AI and cybersecurity. That ChatGPT lost its job to AI, and it was you know, the DeepSeek, for the Chinese. I like what the Chinese have done so far. But AI is here to stay, and it's not going anywhere for that matter. So we have to, whether you like it or not, brace ourselves to it. And cybersecurity, currently, it's impacting hugely on cybersecurity architecture, because right now most of the tools that are used in cybersecurity are powered by AI, and now even bad actors, hackers, people call them hackers, but I like call them bad actors, are using these AI-powered cybersecurity tools to be able to perform their attacks, which means they are very smart, super smart, they are fast, and they can be able to even, lack of a better word, mutate, because they are able to learn the functioning of a firewall and update itself based on the way, you know, the target is, and work around a network and get inside, you know, to compromise the systems. So how do you, or are you able to, you know, man up or be able to be up for the challenge? Is definitely to use AI against AI. Human against AI, it's not possible. And a very good saying that goes, AI is never going to replace people. No, it's not.
Oh, there's that conversation.
Yeah, AI is never going to replace people, but people with AI are going to replace people without AI. And that is a fact. So the better we become ourselves in, you know, getting to understand better AI is, good for us. I will be very happy if one day we are able to have a Kenyan African-based GPT. It will be a really the awakening call. But again, that is a whole conversation on its own. So on cybersecurity and AI, it's getting to a point whereby there will be no cybersecurity without AI. Yeah. Because most, like for now, I would give it an 80%. Because you look at the tools that are existing currently, they are being powered by AI, right? 90% of them. So it's just the remaining 10%, the traditional tools, of course. But in the long run, in the next few months, cybersecurity will be fully powered by AI. Yeah.
So, Gitonga, you agree that it's time we all get skilled on AI?
Yes, I agree. And you see, one of the things about AI and the cybersecurity, as businesses have to leverage themselves on AI-driven solutions, both in detection and response of threats. You'll find also that there is also AI has you're able to have personalized trainings in different sectors. So it becomes even easier for cybersecurity as a tool to detect where do you go wrong, or where are you going wrong. And one of the things about CyberPro is that we are among the pioneers in using AI to do some of the things, whether it's penetration, whether it's training. Using AI and leveraging the tools that are available to them is one of the key areas, and also one of the ways that we have also set ourselves aside as a company. Yeah.
Okay. We are all at a position to be hacked, or to for our data to be breached in one way or the other. Just for individuals, probably we've talked about organizations and company, but now for individuals, just what's the best way to ensure that you are secure, like your data is secure, and you are just secure when you're online, in terms of you avoiding getting hacked and whatnot?
Thank you for that, Vivian. What do they say? If it croaks like a what?
If it walks like a duck.
Yeah, if it walks like a duck, then definitely it is a duck. And most of the times, you always, the moment you find urgency in any communication, again, it might be true, maybe it is a genuine thing, but the moment you find urgency, especially in a communication that you're not aware of, it's the first red flag. And so I'm not saying you don't trust, you trust, but the first thing after that you verify, right? The moment you find urgency, the moment you are winning lottery or you're winning iPhone 17, which you never participated, you know, it becomes, the moment a Bible application on your phone is asking access to your contacts or camera. I mean, why would a Bible application ask for camera access on my phone? So there are some of the things, when you look at, you're able to see it when it's walking like a duck.
He called it something to do with simple and stupid.
Yeah,
that's what the lecturer taught them.
You keep it simple and stupid. It's called KISS, KISS. The KISS principle, one of the key principles of cybersecurity architecture. You keep it very simple and very stupid. It makes it easy for the good guys to use and very difficult for the bad guys to use.
So for one to just be protect themselves, just look out for some of the really small things, you know, nitty-gritties.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've been sent for some link you didn't even ask for, and then you're there, you're just clicking on it.
Just clicking, opening images, you know. And recently, not only for, in fact, even the common guys who are not really much techie. Last week I received an email from my boss with a lot of urgency to be able to change my password. And you know, I was sitting next to him and I asked him, why are you sending me, you know, an email to change my password? He told me, no, I never sent you an email. But when you look at the email, it is exactly my boss's email. And you see now hackers are getting very smart, as smart as that. It is the exact same email he uses. And I've received again so many, you know, now we are into this business. We have received so many links to be able to, you know, just click on it, phishing links, so many documents that are very malicious. So now what you do, we have got free tools and free platforms, even as, you know, a person who is not so much techie. One of them is virustotal.com. You just copy and paste the link there or upload a file there. It will give you all the details. If it's a you know, a genuine file or it's a genuine link or not genuine, it will give you.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the databases where all the antiviruses get their sources of data from. Yeah.
All right. As we almost come to a conclusion of this conversation, maybe to you, Gitonga, just what would you want to be people's take home from our conversation?
Probably what our take home, I'd also add to what Dan said.
Yeah.
We have free webinars every month to try and sensitize people on data protection and cybersecurity. So that is one of the avenues. And there are many avenues across the board where individuals can learn basics of what to do and what not to do in terms of cybersecurity. My take home would be if you're looking to get into the cyberspace or to protect your businesses, the best place to come is at CyberPro. We have customized offers for both for all across the board, government institutions, is it businesses, is it individuals? Yeah. And what we do at CyberPro, you get we are accredited institutions by NITA, by ODPC, and also we have we are accredited trainers under EC Council, the global EC Council. So one of the things you get from us is you'll get the whole package. You'll get to have your certifications and inculcating knowledge into some of these processes. You find that right now the places, one of the key areas, especially in cybersecurity, where there'll be a lot of hula baloo probably in the next 2 years, is GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. Because at the end of the day, we've said this, it's changing. It's coming, and you have to be prepared. So those are some of the key areas where we'll be looking into.
Okay. Yeah. As we finalize now a query,
yes.
What's the future of cybersecurity trends? As you also give us your last remarks.
AI is the future. It's the current and the future. AI is not just cybersecurity, but the whole technology. So AI is the current right now and will be the future, and there is no changing that. Of course, there are other technologies like IoT and data science and everything, but AI is the future in matters cybersecurity. So you become rightfully placed, because if you don't position yourself that way, then you'll be knocked out.
Yeah.
So my take home is we are ISO 27001 2022 certified, and that means how serious we take our business. Yeah, it's a very intense certification to be able to get the ISMS one, and so that means that you'll be in a very safe hands to be able to do business with us or work with us. And when it comes to training or having your security solutions sorted. Yeah, and this is interdisciplinary. We don't focus on just tech guys, like even the media guys like yourself. There is a tailored, customized training for media, all right, in matters privacy, data privacy, in matters frameworks, in matters regulations, just for you guys. When it comes to guys taking agriculture, education, and all sorts of that, we have a huge catalog. But of course, for techie again, we have got all those catalogs in terms of penetration testing and certified ethical hacking. And one thing we emphasize on in our trainings is communication and ethics, because it's very important to be able to have that. Just because you can be able to work around and penetrate a system does not mean you have to unless you get consent. And how do you communicate this to people? How do you tell them, your system is compromised? Yeah. So communication and ethics is one of the key things that we are able to highlight in all our curriculum across. And so we have our partners, our training partners at the University of Nairobi, Chiromo, Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Daystar University, Rongo University, and Meru University.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are our training partners. You can be able to find us there, and our offices are in Hurlingham, where we also have an academy. If you want to enroll, you can always join us and, of course, get more details to it. Or visit our website, cyberpro.ke.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. This is where we end this talk. I've been having Tyson Gitonga, who is a business development manager, as well as Danstan Akwiri, who is the vice president, CyberPro Global. Our conversation was on building resilience in cybersecurity. And this is where we end Good Morning Kenya for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Vivian Dagwa. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.